most of Patricia Highsmith's novels are about sort of the criminal mind, and this is her only novel that's not about the criminal mind. It's about the amorous mind, and what's interesting about that is that actually in the 50s, being a lesbian was considered criminality. And also, me and Todd were talking about this, which is kind of interesting, is that when you're falling in love with someone, your mind kind of works the way a criminal's mind would. You kind of are constantly thinking about different scenarios and different things that could go wrong, or different, betrayals that could happen, or getting caught doing this, or am I going to run into this person here? Your mind kind of works in that way. It just works in overtime, and it's constantly considering different scenarios that might happen, or things that might go wrong, or the other thing that's interesting about the novel is that it's the first and probably one of the only stories, especially of that time, about a lesbian relationship that doesn't end in death or one of the people becoming straight, or it has kind of a happy ending, or at least an ambiguous ending, and that's really different for that subject. Well, Therese is just a really young girl who's kind of, in a lot of ways, she's kind of alone in the world. She doesn't really have a family, and she doesn't have that many friends, or she doesn't have that big of a community. She has Richard and their mutual friends and his family, but she's not that grounded. She doesn't have like a home base really, and she's kind of, she's like figuring out who she wants to be and what she wants her life to look like. And when she meets Carol, that's kind of not her model, but it's kind of like, I think it really opens her world and her mind to what she could be like, or what her life could be like, and opens the door for the kind of life that she wants to have. When we did the camera test for the movie, when I saw Kate in the full hair and makeup and wardrobe for the first time, that kind of says everything. I mean, who wouldn't be just blown away by her? She's just this like goddess, she's just this magnificent creature, and I think Therese has probably never really seen anyone like her before. It's been incredible. I mean, I've loved Kate since I was 13 years old when I saw her in Elizabeth, and it was really scary coming here knowing I was going to be working with her, because I've looked up to her for so long and idolized her and just think she's, beyond anything. And so I feel so lucky that I get to work with her and that I get to watch her and learn from her. And it's one of my favorite parts. I love period films, and I've always wanted to be in one. I did a film that took place in the 70s, but that's not quite the same. And the costumes are kind of, the costumes and the hair and the sets, it's kind of everything. I mean, you can't really step into the world of the character until you kind of see what all that's about. Whenever I knew what my clothes were going to be like and what my hair was going to be like, that's really the thing that brings it all together for me anyway. I mean, it informs so much about your character, the way you look and the way you move, and the clothes inform the way that you move. And Sandy's she's amazing. I mean, I can't imagine being in a relationship like that in the 50s. I think it's hard to be in a relationship like that now in many parts of the world. So I can't imagine the struggle that it must have been, and the strength and the courage it must have taken to be in a relationship like that in the 50s.